What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Trout Wrangler Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Garrity. That guy right there, looking out the window, that's our show's vibe curator, Mr. Maverick. There he is, showing his face. We have a really cool episode today. You've probably seen videos of what this person's doing all over social media because it's honestly a really cool thing she's got going on. We got Heather from Fish for Change. Before we get into that interview, I want to thank our show's partners, Afweta Coffee, Free Fly Apparel, Yeti Coolers, and Loon Outdoors. So, coming up next is our interview with Heather Harkavy. What's up, guys? Like I said in the intro, we do have an interview. You've been on so many Instagram pages recently. I guarantee you, everybody's seen you at least one time. The Orvis has posted you. Everybody's probably seen what you're doing over there. But for people that don't know you, introduce yourself a little bit and what you're doing.
Well, hi, everyone. My name is Heather. I'm the executive director with Fish for Change, and we are running an amazing nonprofit, Biased Opinion, where we're getting high school and college students more involved in fly fishing on a deeper level. So we pretty much run a summer camp for fly fishing. We take kids to Honduras, Bahamas, Mexico, and Costa Rica. And in each one of those locations, we'll take over a pre-existing fishing lodge and then build out this curriculum where 10 teens a week who are utterly obsessed with the sport of fishing get to come together, share that love for the sport, spend time on the water, but then have all the other layers added to it of both conservation stewardship, cultural exchange, writing and reflection, group bonding. And it's just I'll dive into it more as you ask more questions, but it's just it's a fly fishing trip with a lot of depth to it. Predominantly focused at a next generation. And yeah, it's been doing so well lately, and we've been getting so much attention, and it's kind of crazy. I can't get over it. It's been like a big boom these past 60 days. But I'm just, grateful to be here and calling this a job somehow. Like, what?
Yeah, I think everybody, you hear everybody say it in this cliche. It's like you find a job you love, you won't work a day in your life.
I've never worked before, yeah.
And it's one of those things. It's like, when did you realize that you kind of wanted to build a career around fly fishing education and conservation?
When I was little, honestly. I grew up fishing in South Florida with my dad, and I never had community in it. I had my dad's community, but I didn't have my own community of peers. And it's funny, because I do a lot of mentorship there's a plane flying by. Can you hear that? It's so loud. But I do a lot of mentorship with our students now, and they're switching college majors and confused what they want to do with life. And I'm out on the other side of it now somewhat. And I just think back to my college experience. And I mean, I changed my major 5 times, but in that was environmental science, education, business management, hospitality. Every single major I had throughout my college experience ended up being something that all came together to be this career path. Because I think I knew I needed to create space for kids in some capacity with my career and the outdoors. And this is where we landed.
You see, that's something too. You see it more and more with fishing growing.
Mm-hmm.
I fished in high school. I was on a high school fishing team. When I was in high school and college and stuff like that, compared to what that is now, when I was in high school fishing was small compared to what it is now. It's insane how much it's grown to where it's kids are getting full blown scholarships to go and fish at Bethel,
right?
East Texas and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something too. We didn't have a fly fishing club at ECU. We didn't have a fly fishing club in high school. So there are kids out there that just love to fish that this is something perfect for.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably something I would have got involved in if we had it back when I was in high school.
I wish. I know. Same here. And it is wild. I'm 30 now, so I graduated high school in 2013, but it has changed. So the past, honestly, post COVID, the boom in these younger kids is wild. Something that I think is hysterical that I don't think people realize is half our campers at this point are these like COVID YouTube kids that got into fly fishing. Because if you think during COVID, they were like 9 to 11 years old. So like
Yeah.
they were that age and they're locked down and they got into fly fishing off YouTube. So
Yeah.
that's this new generation. Usually it's like I learned from my daddy. Like no, these kids are like I learned on YouTube during COVID. I was bored and I was 10.
Yeah. Dude, it's like that's a bit like you see it everywhere. Like even people like I'm 29.
Mm-hmm.
People our age were like, you know what? Like I need something to get into and get outside. They're like, if I knew people, I go into Bass Pro up the road here, and they'd be sold completely out of every single fishing rod, every single fly rod, and more as I was like hitting the spots that I hit when I was in like high school and stuff, because it's like I had the time just to drive around and fish. There would be more and more people at like my little honey holes around
Mm-hmm.
my hometown, and it's
Yeah.
like like I hated it at some point, but it's like at the same time, it's like you also like to see that to
Yeah.
where it's like you have kids running around with GoPros strapped to their chest, just like screaming out loud, like having a good time, and it's like, you know what is like as much as it sucks seeing somebody on your honey hole that you've had since you're like 10 years old, it's like I like at least seeing the kids getting excited and they're not playing Xbox, you know?
Yep, totally. And that's where it brings in kind of like the other layers of fish for change, if you will. Like I think adding the because I fish, I protect the resource. Because I fish,
Right.
I've got a larger community. Because I fish, I'm a confident young man, daughter, whatever, or girl. But like I think that yes, it is booming. And so the
Yeah.
goal and the ethos behind Fish for Change is like have it boom, but have it boom in this like really positive direction where it's adding all these other layers of value to it.
Yeah. That's perfect. So
Yeah.
like where did you kind of get the idea to like for the organization and where did it like originally come from?
Yeah. So our creation story. So all of high school, I worked down at IGFA's fishing camp for kids. I
Oh,
was a
cool.
counselor there all of high school. All of college in the summers, I lived down in Panama and I was the education director at Tropic Star Lodge, a fishing lodge there that has 40 guests a week. So there's a bunch of kids that are always kind of there too in the summers. Um, and I ran around and managed all the kids. So in both those spaces, like, this has been going on for a long time, right? Literally half my life now. In the kid education department. But a month before I graduated college, I was at an event and I met the owner of Fly Fish Guanaja, Steve Brown. And it was one of those synergies where it's like 3 minutes in talking, he's like, "You got to come to Honduras this summer. Like, please join us." He, for the past few years, had been bringing teenagers down to Fly Fish Guanaja on fishing trips. And mainly a lot through his clients' kids and their friends. And it was still in an organic kind of startup space of kids coming down to Guanaja on these awesome fishing trips and doing some mangrove restoration. And I went down for the summer. This was like post grad. Go down to Guanaja. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'm applying to jobs, but I know I'm starting off my experience here. And I just fell in love with the island. Like it is loud and loving and family oriented and a fishing village and everything about it. Like I was like, oh, feels like I grew up here. Like I feel this is it. This is home. Here we are. We've arrived. And I ended up canceling my return flight and staying extra at the end. And while I was there, kind of just leaning into like creative business models with Steve and other people that were students of the organization for ways to turn this concept into like a legitimate organization and make it something. My big things were fly fishing's not accessible. Let's make it something accessible so that anyone
Right.
who wants to be a part of it can. Flash forward 8 years later, 40% of our kids come for free, which is pretty freaking cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so a lot of different backgrounds. Um, why let's get local involvement at another level. 20% of our kids now come on local scholarship from the country that we're in. So they're training to be future fishing guides. So that was like another layer. Why is it just in Honduras? Let's expand it. Now we're in 4 different countries. Like these other lodges are so stoked to, team up with us and be part of the expanding family as well. And then just the curriculum. Like I really, really like education, but I also really struggled with being educated as a kid. I like
I did too.
yeah, every fisherman did. Like my running joke is 100% of Fish for Change students have like horrible ADHD and don't take their Adderall during programs. Like it's where fishermen are just like so um,
Yeah.
and I always got in trouble for talking. Oh, your pup. I always
Yeah,
got in trouble
that's
for
Maverick. What's up, dude?
Maverick. I always got in trouble for talking in the back of class, believe it or not. And I think one of the coolest things and the thing I'm probably the most proud of with Fish for Change is our curriculum. Like the layers outside of fishing that we've added to our experiences, the reflection and evening programming, and the ways that we've been able to engage these students as an educator that I don't even feel like an educator. Like it took me probably 3 years into Fish for Change for me to be like, oh, I'm a teacher. These are students. Like it's the education is so informal and so powerful and so sneaky because it's so much fun that no one even like really absorbs the fact that they're learning until they sit down at night and they're like, oh my gosh, my mind just like exploded in expansion. But I wasn't in a classroom. What? So that's like a really cool piece of the growth over our past 8 years has been really
Yeah, that's something insane. That's something like what you said. I have horrendous ADHD and I go unmedicated. I just don't like being medicated because it turns me into a potato.
same.
But like, it's one of those things. I was horrendous in school. The only thing that got me through is because I had to keep a GPA high enough to fish on the teams that I was on.
Mm-hmm.
And if I didn't have that, I probably would not have graduated.
Sure, yeah.
But the mission for of Fish for Change goes far beyond catching fish. Obviously, we kind of went over it a little bit already, but like the core philosophy. What's the core philosophy behind your organization?
Core philosophy. Ooh. So I guess really to make a fishing trip so much more than a fishing trip by embedding these core values in our students that make them, it just actively makes them think a little different about their relationship with the sport. So I always lean into there's 4 main adjectives that I watch our students grow in during programs, and I'll kind of feed off each one. But one being curiosity. Naturally, as anglers, we're curious people, right? We're trying to outsmart a fish by thinking like,
Yeah.
and so ways we engage in curiosity is stuff like we have students have one afternoon they have to fill up a poster board with 100 questions they have about the place that we're in. Then they're sent out as journalists and they have to answer all 100 questions. So
Oh,
now
that's
they have
awesome.
the lens for like, who's the mayor? What is the political structure? What's the import export business look like? So on and so forth. Another one would be like confidence. Like, how do we grow confidence in a young angler? I mean, having them hop on a plane and fly to another country for the first time alone, like that doesn't build confidence. I don't know what does. I think
Yeah.
one example of everything happening in programs where they're really independently finding their own voice on a trip, right? They're not having their parents tell them what to do. They're giving like enough autonomy to really take direction. Building empathy. So kind of the way that happens is for one, I mean, just the fact that our students are coming from dozens of states and countries, their tiny little 15-year-old brain of hometown Charlotte, North Carolina, or whatever it might be, just expanded tenfold, and their empathy for the human experience grew because now they're having friends with all these different backgrounds and different relationships with being human. And then last one would be passion. Like, how do we continue to grow this passion? And I think personally, so I actually did fall. I didn't fish much a little bit of high school. Why? I was a teenage girl. I was busy being a teenage girl. Like I kind of faded away from fishing. I think if I had had friends at that age that fished, I would have continued fishing because social life to me was greater than fishing. But if I had those two combined, it would have worked out. And so the passion grows because one, they're just obviously a lot of these kids are coming from like bluegill and Iowa and random.
Yeah.
They're like saltwater fishing. So obviously you're just like geeking out. I mean, it's
Yeah.
epic. But on another level, you're bringing together this community of friends. So now they've got this group chat of 10 kids from 10 different states and countries, all utterly obsessed with fishing that goes on forever, and they go visit each other in each other's homes. So there's that accountability structure of like sharing the sport with peers that
Yeah.
just really grows a student's passion. And I joke about this all the time. We have 100 students a summer. So I talk to 100 moms a year, and every one of the moms says, Heather, my child, I swear to God, my child, I've never met someone that likes fishing more than my child. My child likes fishing more than anyone I've ever met. And I'm like, the other 99 moms, they all said the same exact
Same thing.
and they're all coming together here under the Fish for Change roof. Really cool.
Dude, that's like such a cool thing too, because it's like you're saying all those kids probably have a group chat. It's like legit. They turn like 29, 30. It's literally like when the plans leave the group chat. You ever seen those memes where it's like when the fishing trip leaves the group chat
Oh
and it's
yeah.
like
I had
they
to like
all turn
myself from the group chats after because they're just I'm like, okay, you go be boys, bye. It was a really fun program, everyone. Thank you for being here.
they all turn 21 and they're sending you videos of them like doing backflips off of boats in the Bahamas.
That's kind of like the coolest part though too, is like I've been doing this for I've done this from 22 to 30. So like I've grown up with these kids. So some of those original kids are like 26, 20, they're my peers. Like, there's not even an age gap anymore. So I'm just like making future besties, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. Dude,
Yeah.
you're talking about, do you know Louis McCooch somehow?
Yes.
No way.
We went to sleepaway camp together.
No way.
Yes.
That's one of Sean and I's like best friends.
No
We
way.
talk, we have a group chat. We talk every day.
Oh my gosh. Okay, McCoot, like truly, it's funny because we're talking about how I run a summer camp now. Talk about a key pillar to life. McCooch was in my best, closest friend group in camp.
No way.
I was little, yeah, but I haven't talked to him in years.
He builds skiffs now.
I know.
Yeah, badass skiffs too.
It's really cool. Yeah, I wonder if he'll be at the Soulfly event in Charleston.
He will.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see him. It's been 20 years.
Yeah, he'll be there. I'm hoping he's going to be there, Sean.
Wow.
But yeah, he builds a sweet skiff.
That's so funny. God, this world is small. Yeah.
But
I went to camp in North Carolina as a kid. I went to camp in Hendersonville.
No way.
Yeah.
I love Hendersonville.
I know, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's kind of another piece. Like I went to summer camp when I was a kid, and summer camp was like, to me, the biggest piece of personal growth. Like at summer camp, I was 10 and I was doing my own laundry and I was feeding myself my own meals when I had the interest to do so. And I was leading in my camp room cabin, whatever they called them. And didn't see my parents for 6 weeks. And like, you know how much personal growth comes out of stuff like that? Like as a 10-year-old, talk about all those adjectives, confidence and curiosity and passion and empathy, like so much insane growth at that age. Yeah.
I almost interned at a camp, I think up in Hendersonville, High Rocks.
Okay.
Somewhere up there. And I worked at Mountaintop in Cashiers, so I know that whole area pretty well.
Mountaintop, you'll always be.
We don't sing that song around here. We're Georgia fans.
Only home to me. We sing that a lot. I can't lie.
But can you walk like what a typical day for a student for Fish for Change looks like?
Yeah, I wake them up at 6:30. I've got the turtle boxes booming, surround sound, really loud. I'm also in my megaphone. I'm like, wake up, it's time to go fishing. They're like, eh. And then, unless they're already awake because they're in like a prank war or something, who knows? But that's what starts the day. We always have our group breakfast together, and then we go out on the water. We fish for about 6 hours. Each day there's a rotation, so you're fishing with a different guide or student. And what I love about that is there's like no cliquey nature at Fish for Change because you're not getting this like group time all the time. Like each day you're having this one-on-one with another kid that you're bonding with. So I've never had like click problems at Fish for Change, which is a standard, summer camp problem, I'd say. And that doesn't exist because of like boat rotation. After fishing, we're either doing something that's environmentally based or cultural exchange based. So on the environmental level, we'll meet up with a local environmental group to feed off of their ongoing projects. That would include setting up game cams to take surveys on jaguar populations in Costa Rica. That includes diving, fragmenting coral, and building out reefs in Mexico. That includes taking propagules off mangroves and planting mangroves in Honduras. In Bahamas, diving and shooting lionfish because they're super invasive and all over the place. Like there's all these different things we're doing, but we're always feeding off the environmental pieces. And that'll happen in a few of the afternoons. And then the other afternoons, it's cultural exchange based. So we'll do stuff like soccer tournament in town or basketball tournament in town, whatever the local sport is. We do town tours. So we'll cruise the whole island, village, wherever it is and get like a deeper understanding of the space. 2 nights each week is guide dinner. So whichever guides you fished with that day, they pick you up and you eat dinner in their homes with their families. So you're making
that's so
dishes
cool.
and hanging out with their fams, which is so special. And like, it really is just like this one big happy family of goodness. We have like I said previously, like our curiosity board and our scavenger hunt activities where we kind of send kids off, talk about building confidence and curiosity, running through town to like be their own journalist and use their own voice to figure things out. We have a lot of different curriculum, but that's pretty much each afternoon is either environmental or culturally exchange based. And then every evening is group circle. So we sit in a circle and we reflect on the day, and we hold space for conversations on our key adjectives and pieces of character growth. And then we have like I love it so much. We have every night, everyone goes around and says what they're grateful for to kick off group circle. And then we have a 5-minute free write. And night one, I'm always like, so what do you guys think about writing? And they're like, boo. And I'm like, no, hear me out. Like, you're experiencing something really cool right now and you're going to forget about it. Like, I'm only going to have you write it 5 minutes a day, but it'll be enough where you'll look back on it when you're my age and be like, wow, whoa.
Yeah.
So I do 5 minutes of free write a day. I'm being a little manipulative there because free write usually ends up lasting about 15 minutes. But if I tell them 5 minutes and they jump on it, and then once the 5-minute timer goes off, I look around and they're all still writing. I'm like, all right, I'll sit back and relax, keep writing, boys. So we give that opportunity to like really take a second to reflect. And then at night after that, like we'll either fish off the dock or we'll go play more soccer in town. Like in Guanaja, we play soccer every night because we're right next to the soccer field. And it's just
That's
like,
cool.
easy not to. And then we do it all over again. And it's one of those things where it's like 1 week at Fish for Change feels like 1 month because the days have so much happening nonstop all day long. And it's so meaningful, so special. It's the honestly most fun you can possibly have in life, I think.
Oh yeah, dude, like it's insane how like I probably if I went and did something like that when I was that age, I probably would have ended up in trouble in like 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But like every kid should go to a different country and just kind of like figure out their way at some point.
And
it does
the
build
coolest
confidence.
thing is I don't think you would have ended up in trouble. I really don't. Like, when we have rowdy, these kids are, the curriculum is too slam packed and too intentional and led with like too much heart to even have the capacity to think outside of that box. And like, by the time it's time to go to bed, no one has anything left. Like they're going to bed. Like they've run out of, like, everyone is done. It's like having a bunch of toddlers, you know, you run them, or a dog.
Yeah.
Or
Cut the dogs loose. Just let them run.
You run them, and then when they hit the pillow, they're done, and then they wake up 8 hours later.
Oh yeah. Mine's asleep back here now. He's chewing on a toy. But hey, you want to get up here? You want to get up? He's tired. Hey, come on over. Somebody, they want to say hi. Oh, he wants to get back up on the...
Now Maverick's being shy.
Yeah, he's being shy now. He wanted to jump down here. Oh, come here, dude. All right, fuck it. You won't get to say hi to the people. But yeah, that's something like the writing part. That's something like how many like fly fishing authors do we have now? Like there's so many, and that one of those kids could end up writing about that and
they do.
Be like, you know what? I want to be a fly fishing author when I grow up.
Well, that actually leads me to that's a cool evening curriculum piece we have. Every week we have a career fair night because I think in a teenage mind they like to fish. So in their mind they're like, I like to fish. I'm going to be a guide. Or I like to fish. I'm going to be a fishery biologist. Those are the 2 top ones I hear. But we have a night where we talk about all the things that parallel fishing. I like to fish, so I run Fish for Change. You like to fish, so you run a podcast. My other friend likes to fish, so he takes photo and film. My other friend is a writer. My other friend is a marine biologist. My other friend fundraises a ton of money for an organization. Someone else I know runs policy for another Orvis needs an accountant. You know, like every single one of these jobs, there's so many ways to work in fishing that without being a guide or a biologist.
Right.
If you want to be that, do that too. That's epic. But like, it's fun to like challenge these kids to think outside the box of like all the layers they could have the sport take them to.
I think that's something too that like a lot of kids like leaving college or like even high school, like even me leaving like college, I was like, I had to make that decision where I was like, I can go 1 of 2 routes. I can go and sink all that money into fishing the opens and try and go and fish professionally.
Yeah.
I wasn't that good. I realized that very quick. It's like, that's just a waste of money. Mm-hmm. But then like, you can also try and get something in the industry. But it's like, we all know that's a cutthroat industry. So it's like, you know what? You sometimes have to carve out your own way. Mm-hmm. But like, there is so much that you can do within the industry, and I think a lot of people look at it and it's like you can either fish professionally or guide. That's it. And there is just like a huge umbrella that a lot of I don't even know if that's the right phrase for it. Is a big you can cast a big net.
Yeah, you can throw a big net at all the
Yeah.
things that need. Yeah, exactly. It's a cool lens to think with, and I think that plays into like the power of mentorship. Like I actually had one of my business mentors tell me, I was like, how do you have such cool kids? And he's like, I did it. I barely raised them. Like once they were teenagers, the last person they wanted to listen to was me. So I just like set them up with like really cool adults that I knew had similar like ways of reason as me. And I put them in front of them. And then all of a sudden they were listening to these other adults that were saying exactly what I would say, but it wasn't me saying it. So therefore they listened.
Honestly, that's a good way to look at it.
It's kind of smart. Like I didn't want to listen to anything my parents had to say as a teenager, but like you throw me a camp counselor that's 10 years older than me, that's working in fishing, and be like, what? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's sick.
So cool. Yeah.
There's like, I know we could probably go on for a whole episode just on this, but
Yeah.
why is it so important to introduce the younger generation to fly fishing, and not only that, but also conservation?
Yeah. I mean, so many. It's so cool. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like when I go to events or when you listen to people talk about fishing, like the number one thing you always hear people saying is like, we gotta get more kids into it. Like, the number one feedback is, what's going on with the next gen? We live in iPad world. How cool is it to like create space for a generation of non-iPaders amongst this new world? I think it's so important to just like get kids outside, get kids appreciating the resource and using it with all the layers that Fish for Change has built in. Where like we live in such a divided, confusing world right now, and like to be able to build kids' empathy through just like holding space for experiences with so many different people from so many different backgrounds, like that classic line of like you're why would you care about protecting something if you haven't experienced it? So like giving them the opportunity to experience these resources like naturally leads into phase 2, which is the urge to protect these resources. It's so special. And then I also think so when you can't really, it's easier to teach a kid than to teach an old dog new tricks, right? So
right.
I think that on behalf of even the way Fish for Change programs are laid out, I'm not going to change your standard 7-year-old guest at a fishing lodge's relationship with what going on a fishing trip means to them. But creating the first fishing trip for a teenager that's now going on a fishing trip with all these other layers just set a new baseline for them. So now they're going to live this life of continuing to seek that deeper connection with these other communities and seek this deeper relationship with the environment around them while on a fishing trip. And it's usually their first experience going on an international fly fishing trip. So like to be able to create that baseline is so cool, because now we've got another 60, 80, whatever it is, years of this kid leading with that example. And then making it contagious. It starts the domino effect and it just spirals into so many more good things.
Oh, 100%. Kind of keeps kids out of trouble too later on down the road. Yeah.
Like, passion is so important. Like to be able to have that thing you wake up for every morning, you're like, I'm passionate about this, is so important. It doesn't need to be fishing. We're just lucky enough to call that one ours. But like any passion across the board that like gives you this like factor of community and identity and something to work towards and something to create something out of is just, one of the writing actually exercises we do at Fish for Change is write about what your life would be like if you were to take fishing out of it. Like what's left?
Nothing. Legitimately, like.
So, I'm like, who would be my friend? Like, what would I do every day? Who would be my friends? What would I wake up for? Like, literally, you take fishing out, and it leaves such bare bones of reality for what's been created in like my life, and you can attest to that too. But it's a fun little like reflection piece for kids to.
I'm gonna be thinking about that the rest of the damn day. Like, what the hell would my life be like if I didn't have fishing?
Yeah.
Probably have a couple more dollars to my name, but
yeah, we would. I'd be rich.
that doesn't go with us when we die, though.
It doesn't. Not at all. All the things that matter are strong.
Oh yeah. But dude, we really covered so much, and I'm trying to look down at some of the questions, and we already covered half of them. One of your big goals is making fly fishing accessible to more people. Mm-hmm. How does that scholarship program kind of accomplish that more for
Great
you guys?
question. So we run Fish for Change as a 501c3. All of our programs that students pay to join are at cost. And then 40% of our kids come under a full or partial ride scholarship, which I absolutely love. This sport is definitely not accessible, and like any way to break down barriers to entry, the better. So students apply online through our scholarship program. They have to send in a 1-minute video, a cover letter, a letter of recommendation, and answer a few questions. And send like family financial status. From there, I hop on to an interview with these kids. So I spent a lot of the past 2 months interviewing teenagers, over 100 to be exact.
That's got to be fun.
It is the silliest. I wish I could record these calls. Like I take notes on them so I don't forget some of the gems that these kids drop. But like, it's so cool. And I would say 90 out of 100 of these students had never done an interview before. So they show up and they're like, "Hi, Miss Harkavy." All the others that are, but they go through the interview process, and then from there, I have a board that is our selection committee, and we figure out how we're going to be able to allocate funds and get as many students there as possible that are well deserving. And what we're looking for really is like a student that is utterly obsessed with fishing. Otherwise, would never have access to an opportunity like this. Like this really is like a once in a lifetime first piece of access. A student that follows up. So I actually have a list. I at the end of each call, because once again, this is all big picture, growing into character development and growth. But at the end of each call, I always say, so whenever you guys are doing interviews, I know this is your first interview, but like, it's always nice to follow up with an email. I'm talking to dozens of students a week. Like I might forget, and just stay at the top of my mind. And then I have a tab on this spreadsheet where like if a student follows up, they get a point. And if they don't get a point. So it gives them these like bump points. And so even the students that did not get scholarships in this process, still lots of great feedback from parents. Like, thank you so much for letting Johnny be a part of this. He grew so much in the experience, even though he didn't get a scholarship. We're going to try again next year. And I love that. And then some students also have to fundraise for their trips. Some students will like fundraise the second half or didn't get a scholarship and still fundraise for their full trip. I'll coach them on that. I'll give them fundraising pointers and set them up for success there. And I truly think like sweat equity is a powerful thing. Having students buy into the process and put a little work into it. You can tell when the students put a lot of work before getting there.
Yeah.
Their eyes are bigger. They're absorbing more. They're like taking it in at a different level. So it is really, really special. It's really
that is super cool how you do the interview. Cause it's like, a lot of that's like his first interview. Like they'll go on, they already have a step ahead of some other applicants and jobs and stuff like that down the road. Yeah. And you were talking about following up. This is completely off the topic. I think a thing that I see, like I've never really hired, but my girlfriend is a supervisor. Mm-hmm. People do not write thank you notes after an interview anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's wild.
It's a lost art. Our world is too busy. Like no one is coming up for that air, and it makes a whirlwind of a difference. And even that's honestly my number one piece of advice for these like kids when they graduate college and want to work in fishing. I'm like, all you got to do is work a little harder than everyone else. Like fishermen are bad at emailing. They're bad at following through. Like if you follow through, you email back, you say your please and thank yous, you push the concept one step forward, like you're going to make a name for yourself and you're going to go far, because like fisherman work ethic exists on the water.
Oh,
but if you can bring that work ethic onto your computer screen as well, like, oh my gosh. Like,
yeah, it's like, it's one of those things. It's like you don't want to be one dimensional. Like, everybody could talk fishing and stuff like that, work hard on the water, but it's like you get off the water. Like I have a lot of friends from college that I fished against that like ended up getting off graduating college. Like a kid I know that works at Pure Fishing. Mm-hmm. Graduated college the next day, he had like a whole table set up and was working for Pure Fishing the day after he graduated college. And literally jumped right in. And that was like a perfect example of like, I mean, work ethic right there.
We're not in the corporate world. It's not like the fishing world's not asking for that much, just a little bit more than everyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
And it'll all work out.
But excuse me. Damn. Have to edit that out. I probably won't, honestly. But what does fly fishing personally mean to you today compared to when you first started?
I love that question. Oh, how fun. I think when I first started, I don't remember it. I was so little, but at that point, like it's honestly, I think it's probably stayed the same, which is really cool, except for the relationship piece. Like at the beginning, it was something I got to share with my dad. Like, what a good excuse to hang out with my dad, to travel and fish and hang out with my dad, who's like to this day I had a meeting with my dad and a few other people this morning. Like, he's not just like my best friend; he's kind of like my business partner too, because there's so many overlaps of us working in this world. But it definitely started off as like a really fun way to like, I was a critter catcher. Like critter catching was my thing. Like it wasn't just fish. Like, I wanted to catch like lizards and wear them as earrings, and I wanted to catch
Same thing.
toads and put them in a tank. And I was like, Heather, you're like, stop, don't lick your fingers. And I'm like, look at all my toads. Like I definitely like, I think the beginning of the journey was always hanging out with my dad and catching critters of any capacity. Flash forward to where it's at now. Now it's like more than anything, just like it means community. It means this like global relationship with this powerful community that has been built cross generational, across nations. Like so special. Where it went back to that question of if you take fishing away, what's left? I'm like, I go back to having no friends again.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know what? I'm just a loner again.
Yeah. So it's been good to me.
Yeah. Dude, that's such a Florida thing too, catching the lizards and putting them on his earrings.
Yeah.
I used to do that when I was younger. We lived in Lake Mary,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to go outside. My brother hated it, but I'd go outside and I'd grab geckos and I'd hook them to my ears.
It's the best party trick.
It is.
I loved it.
But, dude,
Yeah.
it's so funny. But so what's coming next for you? Coming years, anything new coming? Big stuff?
This year, I'm just trying to keep up with demand, to be honest. We had to add on a few more programs, which is really cool. But for this summer, the piece this summer that I'm the most excited about is we have 12 teenage girls ages 13 to 17 years
Oh, it's
old coming
awesome.
to Guanaja. And they are most of their dads work in fishing. They're all obsessed with it. None of them have friends that fish. So like I resonate with them so hard. They're like younger versions of self, and I'm just so excited for that week. I was actually when we hopped on the call I was on was with the filmmaker for that week because we're gonna hopefully be making a film with that.
Oh, it's awesome.
For it. So that would be what's up next for this summer. That's really exciting. And then I am going down to Argentina with Set Fly Fishing. The owner of Set's daughter is coming to our girls' week, but I'm going down there for the holidays and we're scouting because we're working to build a Patagonia program with Fish for Change
Oh, sweet.
that creates access for kids in Patagonia that love to fish to be part of programs. So
That's so cool.
I'm really excited there. Yeah, and that would be the big exciting updates, keeping up with expansion and growing a program in that respect. But I don't really have many more growth plans on locations, just on size, but not on locations. I think it's nice to have a small pool of locations that we have like really intimate relationships with, rather
Yeah,
than a bunch of locations that are more casual friendships.
that's awesome. But dude, that girls' weekend's gonna be great because you see it more and more with females getting into fly fishing, and it's super cool to see.
Well, that's where in our 2019 Girls Week, there were a dozen of us and we all became bestest of friends. And I'm actually in 2 weeks, I'm headed to Austin for my best friend's wedding. And I met her because she came to Girls Week that summer. And 5 out of 7 of her bridesmaids are girls from that week. We all
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, really cool.
But my last question
Yes.
is always the 5 songs for the Spotify playlist. So
Oh,
I have a running Spotify playlist, and I may not have done my 5 songs today. But
Okay. I'm going Fish for Change Pacific. Beautiful
okay.
Day, Trinix. That is the song I wake students up with in the morning. It's like, thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you
It's
for
a great
joy.
song.
It's such a beautiful song, and it's such a fun wake up song.
Who sings it again? Trinix. Got it.
Did you find that?
Yo.
Yeah, that's like I would say number one. Hold on, I'm going to my Spotify right now. I'm going to my Guanaja playlist for inspiration. That's my number one wake up song. And then Long Distance, it was in like Cosmo back in the day when they hooked into the GT. And students love that song, and they always play it when they're hooked up to a permit. Like when they catch their first permit, they always put it on, and that song's just like booming in the background.
Long Distance. Who sang that one?
Sam Gallatry.
Sam. There it is. Got it.
Yeah. Vacation by the Dirty Heads. That's my theme song for
It's a
life.
great song.
When I'm like going home, I'm like, I'm at work right now. This feels weird. I'm on vacation every single day. My occupation, so fun. And gosh, all.
Oh shit. My bad. I think we're a little late on it, but
I'm like trying to figure out my next two. I don't know. You get three. How was that? How's that? You like those three? Those are good.
I'm good with that. That's good with me.
Yeah, I have another meeting in 10 I need to prep for. But all fun stuff. And then I guess like final call to action would just be, if anyone's listening and they want to get involved with Fish for Change, you could be a student, you could know a student, you could want to come on scholarship, you could be a donor, whatever it might be, a program partner, so on and so forth. Fish for Change's website is www.fishforchange.org. My email is heather@fishforchange.org, and all of our social channels are just @fishforchange. So that's so you can track us down.
Perfect. Well, I greatly appreciate it for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Ryan.
No problem. I'm going to click stop here. We might have to let tracks upload. It shouldn't take long at all. Yeah, it shouldn't take long at all. It usually only takes. What's up, guys? That was Heather Harkavy with Fish for Change. We have the vibe curator in our lap right here. You got anything to say, big dog? Good talk. What a cool episode. If you would like to get involved with Fish for Change, all her socials, like she said, Fish for Change on Instagram and all that. But big thank you to Heather for coming on. The vibe curator wants to get out. Maybe not. But big thank you to Heather for coming on and spending some time out of her packed schedule to speak with me and hop on the podcast. But until Friday, I appreciate you guys for listening, and have a great rest of your week.